Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. If you are new, subscribe. We are not far away from 12,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, hit that button. Let's get there as quick as we can then. Drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let's have a light target. When I did a light target the other day, we absolutely smashed 600. So let's go 700. Let's see if we can get 700 likes on this video. This is our preview for Manchester United v Aston Villa. United have still got to play Spurs, but unfortunately, they don't fit with my schedule. So we're going with match preview. Tomorrow is press conference. Saturday is predicted lineup. So we'll talk about where Man U are now and our thoughts and our vibe anyway. Still got to play Spurs, which we hope. I don't know, actually. Yeah, I hope that. To be fair, I'd probably say a draw because I don't want Man United to lose and then have to sort of be up for it on Sunday. So I reckon a draw. But we had good results last night, didn't we, Justin? Brighton lost to Nottingham Forest, which is, a big result for Villa because it ticks off one of their games in hand. I keep hearing that they've got these games in hand and all these games in hand are going to mean that Villa just fall down the table. And I stick by what I say. We've still got to win those games in hand. So, it was a big point for 3 points for Forest, and quite happy that Forest got that win because I want Forest to stay up. Justin, it was a big result for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, huge result. Like you say, I think I saw on Twitter last night someone called them games in hand FC Brighton. You can have 20 games in hand, can't you? If you don't win those, it's irrelevant. So our points on the board are massive. We're in a fantastic position now to strike, and these last 5 games, just got to get as many points out of them as we can. Brighton have got a huge task on. Not only have they got catch up 3 more games than us in the same period of time as we're playing 5, so they've got 8 games in the period we've got 5. They've got some tough games. They've got Newcastle, they've got us, they've got Man City, they got Arsenal, and they went and lost to Forest last night. So it just shows that maybe their form is going to drop off a bit. So ultimately now we're in 5th. We've got to finish in that top 7 to get Europe. That's the target now. 5th is beyond our wildest dreams. I think we don't need to get carried away with 5th. No. It's lovely to get there. It's a fantastic achievement coming from where we came from when Unai Emery took over. But ultimately, the aim is top 7. And if we finish 7th now, absolutely over the moon. It's not a failure. I don't see it as that at all. No. It's we are where we are. Liverpool are starting to rock and roll a bit. Spurs are in free fall. We're in a little group now, a little mini league of 4 teams. And we need to finish in the top 3 of those 4 teams. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. And I'm absolutely loving it. I'm not going to lie. I'm absolutely loving Villa at the minute. We are winning games. We are coming back into games. We're just doing fantastically well. And when you look at, for some reason, I don't know whether the World Cup has made me think, I still feel like there's about 15 games to go. I don't know why. I look at it now and I think there should be about 50. And then when you're saying there, we've only got 5 games to go, that's it's nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I think I do read some stuff about the squad depth and that we're really thin and we're on the brink of how thin we are. We got 5 games left.
Yeah,
we've got to just give it everything. Any amount of energy that we've got in the squad, just leave it all on that pitch, because I wouldn't be in meltdown mode if we don't get 7th. But I think while we've got this opportunity, we have really got to take it. We have got to take it, and we've got to get in to the top 7, in my opinion, because of just what it can do and what it, not even what it can do to bring players in, what it can do to financially, what it can do to the fan base and what it can do to the squad. And what I mean by that is you change the fans' mentality already. We become a top six, a top seven side. We start thinking like a top six side. We start having that mentality of a top six side. And I think that is so key to have. And I think we've already seen it when Emery's come in, that little shift of the way we view our team now is completely different. Like I saw a brilliant tweet after the game, and someone said you can tell how far Villa have come when the whole ground is applauding a back pass to the keeper. And I think that is such a great tweet and shows our understanding of what we are, and we've learned how we meant to play. We've learned what we meant to expect on the pitch. But I think then when you start to say that you're a top six side, potentially next season, again, the ambition will be to qualify in the top six. You haven't got somebody that's saying, well, we've never done that. We can't do that. This squad can't do it because we've already done it. So see what I'm trying to say about that mentality shift. And I really think that is one of the biggest parts for me, is getting the whole fan base knowing where we are and what we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when Unai Emery came in, we had a rough idea of how he played by sort of looking at previous clubs, and we all watched the masterclasses and things like that. But it has been a learning curve for us as a fan base, hasn't it? You know, going from managers that, well, especially the last manager that was utterly clueless how to set a team up. You know, looking at Chelsea and Frank Lampard now, and it's like watching Steven Gerrard's Villa. They're just totally clueless. You know, top players just don't always make top managers. You know, we're back to moments of magic, aren't we, with them lot? And that's what we were relying on. We were relying on setting a team up. You know, it seemed to be that the only reason he signed Felipe Coutinho for us was hoping that he could bring out a moment of magic in a game and win us a game. And the breath of fresh air that swept into Villa Park when Emery took over was that, you know, we've got 11 players on the pitch here. We need to maximise the output of every single one of them. We need to make sure they all know their jobs, so they all know what they're doing. This is how I play. This is how I'm setting you up. You know, buy into it, and we'll be great. And they've all bought into it, and we've been great. So, and you know, the fan base at the start were a bit jittery about the playing out from the back, and you know, the slowness of the build up at times, and the way we now attack each game. But we know now, we know how we play, and it, you know, the calmness has returned to the terraces, and we understand that what we're trying to do. There's still one or two mutterings I hear around by me sometimes, but you know, get it forward quicker. But that is definitely dying out now. There was weeks and weeks ago, there was a lot of it. Now there's hardly any of it. People are more understanding, they're more educated now about how we play, and that's all come down to one man. That's Unai Emery, and it's been a phenomenal season, from the depths of despair under Gerrard and 16th and thinking we're in a relegation battle to be where we are now is beyond our wildest dreams. And these last 5 games, whatever happens in them, you know, we've got to win already, haven't we? Because we've got that manager in charge, and whatever happens now, next season's going to be absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait for it.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And you know, the biggest thing for me is whenever I've watched football over the years, I've looked at these possession-based teams and just thought, I've never seen Villa hold the ball. But what we were doing against Fulham in that first half, where they couldn't even get anywhere near us whatsoever, we were just knocking it left to right, and they just couldn't get the ball off us. And it's class, man. It's absolutely class. So we'll go into a graphic that I want to show you that, you know, I think if there's any Manchester United fans watching this, and we will come on to you in a second, that are thinking, you know, what are Villa all about? Well, we'll have a look at this graphic to start with. So, I mean, I could look at this all day. Aston Villa, in the last 10 games, would be second in the Premier League on 26 points. Our form is 2 points less than Manchester City, who are in absolute steamroller mode. And that is our form. The other thing that I want to highlight is the goals conceded column. In 10 games, Aston Villa have conceded 3 goals, 2 from open play, and 1 was a penalty. That is just mind blowing. That form there in 10 games is remarkable. And it just shows the run and the form and how good of a side we actually are. You know, you look at some of the teams now who we're competing with. So Liverpool's form has risen a little bit. They're on 18 points. Brighton are on 15 points. Spurs are on 14 points. Chelsea are on 8 points. So this form here now that we are in, if we can, in the next 5 games, I would say if we can get 9 points, I think that would be enough. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, it's staggering, isn't it? You know, when you look at black and white figures like that laid out in front of you, there's just it beggars belief, really. It does really, because as we've said multiple times, this is exactly the same squad of players that Steven Gerrard said at the start of the season that if these players can't do it, I'll find others that can. And that just blows my mind that the quality within this squad, I think we've always known was there. And there it is in front of you. You know, that's what we've added one player technically to that team. And they can go on a run like this. You know, that run we went on in the Championship when we went 10 games wins in a row was a staggering achievement at the time. But
I
to
think.
do that,
Sorry, Justin. I think this runs better.
oh, massively. To do that in the Premier League with the quality that is in the Premier League, like we saw the other night when Southampton took Arsenal all the way, anybody can beat anybody on the day. And you've got, we've played 10 very difficult games there. They're not easy games,
No.
they're not easy games. And we've destroyed teams in that run. We've grinded out against teams in that run. We've battled back to get a point. Saturday was the biggest one, wasn't it, of the run to keep the run going, which allows you then to go on and beat Fulham, and then the run looks even better, But 3 goals conceded. I was thinking this last night, and not that this is an England podcast, but if Southgate picks Eric Dyer and Harry Maguire for the next squad ahead of Ezri Konsa and Tyrone Mings, then he needs his head looking at, because them two have been absolutely phenomenal. And Mings always gets the plaudits, rightly so. He's been phenomenal this season because he has played for England. But in my opinion, Ezri Konsa has just as much right to be called an England player as Tyrone Mings currently does, because his game has come on unbelievably. He does everything you want from centre half, and he goes about his job quietly, efficiently, just gets on with it, wins headers, wins tackles, great on the ball. His passing has come on loads, he's calm. That triangle at the back of the 2 centre halves and the goalkeeper is just one of the best in the league, and I can say that hand on heart now, because those stats tell me they are some of the best in the league now. Newcastle's defensive record this season has been phenomenal, but in the last however many games, ours has been better. So there's players there that need huge pats on the back and recognition now at the highest level, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think this sets up this game against Manchester United away on Sunday really, really well. Again, I think whenever you think of playing Manchester United at Old Trafford, you always know it's going to be a really difficult game. It's a difficult place to go to. But if I am being brutally honest, and I've said this all season, I actually don't think Manchester United are that good. I really don't. I don't think they are that good. I think Ten Hag is a good manager. I really like him. I think what he's done this season has been good. But I watch them and I just think I'm just not sure. I'm never convinced. I never watch them and think, you know what, you look a real top team here. I think they go through moments. I think they have moments in games, and I think this is probably a credit to them. They come out on top when they have those moments. But yeah, there's just something missing whenever I watch Manchester United, and again, I think they were lucky in that semi-final. I think I think Brighton were the better team, and I think for a bit of
Absolutely.
better position, then Brighton win that game. I think it'll be an interesting game against Spurs, but I think because they've got 3 games in a week, and Villa will be the last one, and they'll have played Thursday night. Hopefully we'll have saved all our energy, and we can have a real good go at them. And I think when I think of Man United's season, I think they had that spell, didn't they? I think I can't think where the spell was, where Casemiro was just absolutely ripping everything apart, and they had a block where they were really good.
Yeah, and Rashford was scoring every
Yeah, and I
game, wasn't
think that block is what has got them where they are. And I think
he? Yeah.
now they've dipped their levels, and there's injuries and there's inconsistencies that I think I think we can get and I think if Emery has the correct plan and we turn up, I think we really can get something from this game. Because, like I say, I've got to be honest, I really don't rate them, and I know they're third in the league, but I think you can look at it and think the league's been a bit weird this season, hasn't it? With certain teams being quite poor, and they probably have had to just be consistently okay to get where they are. So, I'm not doing them any discredit. I'm not putting a downer on them. I'm just saying I don't rate them that much. What do you think? Am I being fair or not?
Yeah, I probably echo everything you've been saying. I think they've actually now found a good manager. I think a manager that fits really well at Old Trafford after numerous attempts at trying to, replicate what Alex Ferguson did, which they're never going to do. There's never going to be another Alex Ferguson, is there? So they was always on to a loser with that. But they've got a manager now that I think the fans finally, my reading of it is they finally trust and think that they can actually maybe build a side up there that can start competing for major honours again. But they have got a lot of players in that squad that probably need shipping out now and that aren't doing it for them. And they've got quite a few injuries at the moment as well. But I think there's a chance there for them to be really good in the next 2 or 3 seasons. But I'm with you. This season, 2 players have carried them, haven't they? Rashford with his goal scoring, and Casemiro has been outstanding centre midfielder. So yeah, and I do think is it Martinez, the centre half as well, who's injured at the moment. He's been excellent for them, and I think it's it's funny that the form has dipped a little bit since he's been injured, but they've got quite a few injuries. I like that. Is it Garnacho, the winger's good? Martinez is injured. McTominay's always solid. Varane's out as well at the moment. So they have got injuries. And I think Fernandez is out as well. So it's going to be very interesting on Sunday.
Yeah. So this is the recent form guide then from both teams. So Villa still nice and green. So head to head, not great, is it? It's not great. So we won't dwell on the away record. But Unai Emery is here at Aston Villa. He breaks records wherever he goes. So
He's the record breaker.
I think that's going to be a good one. When you look at this now, Manchester United are 4th, Aston Villa are 5th. We've only won 2 games less than Man United this season. We have lost a few, but obviously we know why that was. Sort of cut 2 recent fixtures out, because I think it reads good reading, this does. Last season we won 1-0 away. We had a 2-2 draw at home, and then we had a 3-1 win at home this season. So recent form in the last 3 games against Manchester United isn't actually that bad. This is where Manchester United's danger conceded has been coming from this season, and this is where their danger creation has come from as well. This is where their shot map is for this season. I don't buy this graphic. I've put it on there, but I don't know why. I just don't buy it. I don't think it should be that high and that round and that dense, to be fair. So I'm not buying that. So this is how they lined up against Nottingham Forest, I think was their last Premier League win, wasn't it? They went with Maguire, but I think Maguire's now going to be out of the team as well. And then this was their average position. So they were pretty attacking. They do kind of do this front 4 that sort of Man City adopt, where there's this 4 that are sitting across that front line. They've got a bit of a holder in there. The defence sometimes tucks around in a bit of a 3, a little bit like Villa, and then you'll have a left back or right left back that goes into an advanced area and a bit of a midfield area. I think you can see a little bit more on the graphic when they played Seville, you can see that their left back has just gone a little bit AWOL into sort of like a midfield area. But again, you can see that top heavy front four there. So I think if Villa can really work this midfield area, I think we can really get a little bit of joy. I think, and I'm going to say it again, I think Ramsey has got a big game against Manchester United because they do leave gaps in pockets of space where he can get on a transition and he can drive at the opposition. And I think it is key for him to have a really big game. This was their average positions against Brighton in the Cup. So again, you can see I think this is a testament to Brighton how much they pressed and worked Manchester United, that the back four did look like a back four. Again, that front four with a midfield two. So again, you can see, again, there's a pattern in the graphics that midfield area for me is absolutely crucial for Villa. So after all that, Justin, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling confident. I think we can get there and cause some massive problems, which we've done in the last 10 games, especially. I do agree with you. I think Ramsey and Buendia have got to pick their games up a little bit. I think they're a little bit lackluster in the last game. And I think if those three with McGinn, those two and McGinn can have real outstanding games and be busy and get around the pitch and cause problems, then I think there is space to exploit. We've got to try and get the ball into Ollie Watkins a bit more. It does feel like teams have, obviously because of the run he's on, they've really clamped down on him and they see him as a huge, huge threat. Whereas I think Man United, more than anything, going there will suit us because they're at home and they're going to attack us. So, we've got to do what Brighton did. I watched the semi-final and Brighton were outstanding. They just kept going for them. They kept the ball well. They passed the ball well. They moved it quickly. And United struggled to live with them at times. So I see us as in a very similar vein of form to Brighton. I think we're a slightly better team than Brighton, although I do hold Brighton very highly this season. They're a very well-drilled, well-organised, good unit with very good players as well. So I think we can get to Old Trafford and be as confident as we've ever been of getting a result there, and I'd say we've got as much chance of beating them as they have of beating us. I think it's going to be on the day. I think who turns up, the big players in the big moments, these games, they'll be decided by that, won't they? They've got players that if one or two half chances dropped them and they bury them, you can be 2-0 down, can't you? And conversely, we can do that to teams now as well. So the back line is going to be very important. Our defensive form, as we highlighted earlier, is phenomenal. So we're in good form defensively. The two holding players have been good recently as well. Dendonka's got to have a really good game on Sunday as well. I think it's an important game for him. And then the three in front have got to just be on their top form. We want Buendia buzzing around, creating things, getting on the ball, dictating play. We want McGinn just doing everything he does. Ramsey, critically important, carrying as our ball carrier, taking people on, drawing people out, creating space for others. And Ollie Watkins has got to do what he's done very well this season, is when he gets that chance, he's got to bury it, because we might not get that many chances at Old Trafford. So we've got to be very clinical. That's the kind of thing that separates the also-rans from the top quality teams, isn't it? You've got a centre forward that takes a chance when it comes. He might get two chances, so he's got to bury at least one of them, I think. But yeah, massively confident. I'm going there hoping we can get 3 points, and I think the team, the manager, and the whole staff at Villa are going there thinking we can get 3 points. So it's just going to be on the day, isn't it?
And that's the thing. We're going there with belief, knowing we can beat them.
Yeah.
That is a big thing, to rock up there and have that confidence to think that you can beat them. Because at the end of the day, we've already beat them once this season. We've already beat them at Villa Park, and in the Cup, we've actually played quite good in the Cup as well. I think defensively it got a little bit of away from us. And you make a point about us being a better team than Brighton. What I think makes us a slightly better team than Brighton is nothing with the ball going forward. I think it's our defensive nous and our defensive structure and our games management and knowing that if things aren't going well, we can change and do the right things. We don't continue to do the same thing. And I think when I was watching Brighton last night against Forest, when it started to get scrappy, I mean, like scrappy, tackles going in, leaving stuff on players, Forest grew into that game. And I felt like Brighton were a bit like, oh, like, what do we do? But when that starts happening to Villa, you start seeing players like Ashley Young getting stuck in. He starts getting in players' faces. McGinn starts getting around the pitch, getting them tackles in. So I think Villa have got that little adaptability that we can just switch at times. And I think that's the making of a good side. So, I'm not saying I'm like overly confident about playing Man United, and I'm not saying that we're going to go there and absolutely play them off the park. But I think we're in a really good place, and I think with 5 games to go, we're fifth in the league. I'm not going to sit here and do this podcast and start saying stuff like I'm really fearful of them. I think it's tough if we lose this. What happens? Blah blah blah. That's not even coming into my head. That's not even coming into Unai's head. It's not coming into the players' head. With 5 games to go, with a great opportunity of going to Old Trafford and winning, and we are 10 games unbeaten, nobody can tell me otherwise. So that is what I'm going with, and that's my thought process.
The only caveat I would slightly throw at it, and it's just being brutally honest, is I was slightly concerned after the Fulham game that there was a little bit of lethargicness, if that's a word, lethargy in the legs of the players, and solely down to the fact that we are running on pretty much empty in that squad. You look at the bench, there was only, 2, probably 3 realistic substitutions to make. Diego Carlos seems to be there just to be making up the numbers at the moment. A couple of young kids that I don't think you use unless we're hammering someone out of sight. So, that 11 realistically now is the 11 by the look of the injuries and the length that they're out for. Will any of them be back for the end of the season? I don't know. We're not really getting in-depth details on injuries. We've just been told that they're still not back. So it looks like we're going to have to go with that 11 more or less for the last 5 games. Now, we only have got 1 game a week now for the last 5 weeks of the season, which plays into our hands. But we've got to be realistic with the players we've got. They've been, worked into the ground week in, week out. Players like Ashley Young at 37 years of age. What a phenomenal season that bloke's had. And what I don't want to happen is to get any more injuries in key positions, because we would be, struggling a little bit for players. But massive hats off to all that team, especially the first 11 that are having to do this week in, week out. It's a phenomenal achievement, and I think we'll be ready for them. I think the week off, the extra time off we'll have from Man United will hopefully help us. And then we've got a week off in between every game then, so the rest and recovery and the work they do behind the scenes can ramp up next week. One really big effort on Sunday now, and then hopefully the final push. 4 games in 4 weeks. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? One massive push on Sunday, because they are coming off the back of an extra time, a game on Thursday, and then there'll be a midday game on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I think what I hope will happen as well is what should happen is, that player mentality of you playing Man United away, you have to play well. You know what I mean? Like that. When you're playing against a
Yeah,
top
no, I
team,
totally get.
the
Yeah,
levels have to rise, don't they?
and I
So I
think
think,
it's a good. I think it's a good game to come at the end of this. This is our last busiest week of the season, so we've got 3 games in a week. We did really well last week to get the point, really well to get the win on Tuesday. So the busy week culminates now. We're going to Man United. So I think going to Old Trafford as the 3rd game in that week, like you say, should lift them, because it's a fantastic place to go and play football. It's a huge crowd, a huge atmosphere. We're taking loads of Villa fans. We know what our away support's like. It's
yeah,
phenomenal. They'll be loud as anything. So the players will get a lift off that. And if you can't get up for games like this, 4th versus 5th in the league, players and we've got elite mentality players now. We've got Emi Martinez that won't let them rest on the laurels. Tyrone Mings is a born leader. John McGinn has for me, phenomenally grasped that armband now, and he's our proper captain now on the pitch. He leads from example week in, week out. And, Douglas Luiz, Ollie Watkins has shown leadership qualities. So there's players there that are elite mentality players now that have been drilled by a top coach, and we'll be ready for them when that whistle kicks off 2 o'clock on Sunday. Sorry, we will be ready for Man United 100%.
Let's go. Score prediction. I'm going.
7-0. No.
I'm going. Manchester United 1, Aston Villa 2. Justin.
I agree. I had that score in my head, actually, 2-1 Villa. I'm not going to go mad like I normally do, but I watched Brighton. I think Brighton, were very, very unlucky not to get something out of them. I think we're a better team than Brighton. I think we're in good form. I think they're missing players as well. I think Bruno Fernandes is out as well for them. On the day, I think we're just going to be marginally better and we're going to score 2 and they're going to get the 1.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.